Hello, this is Rajiv Nalawadi, and welcome to Life's Magical Journeys YouTube channel. Today, we'll be talking about Seicho Matsumoto. Seicho Matsumoto is a Japanese author and novelist. So he was born uh, in 1909 in Fukuoka, Japan, and he was born as Kiyoharu Matsumoto. That was his name to begin with, and he was a writer, journalist, and a novelist of mystery and detective fiction. And this was all post-war Japan, right? Like considering he was born in 1909, most of his works were like later on, somewhere in the 1940s. So he first started like his writing career around the age of 44. So that would put him right there, post-war Japan. So he moved to Tokyo in his youth, where he initially worked like various menial jobs, and before finding employment as a writer for a magazine. So his early years were sort of financial struggle and had a lot of challenges. But his stories were all set against the backdrop of rapid changes happening in Japanese society during the post-war era. And most of his novels and stories have been converted to adapted to movies and television series. So he often drew upon the real events and the contemporary issues and sort of giving a commentary or a narrative on that and adding a lot of fictional elements to create the stories that resonated with a lot of people at that time. And even today, his novels resonate with the readers all over. And he has been given multiple awards, the Mystery Writers of Japan Award and Akutagawa Prize. I need to go through Rinsoke later on, like in one of the future videos, and renowned author as well. And he passed away on August 4th, 1992. So he's no longer with us. So the first novel that we'll be reviewing is Tokyo Express, and I list Points and Lines as well. The Points and Lines is the first English translation that happened way before Tokyo Express came out. So Tokyo Express and Points and Lines are the same storyline, and but Tokyo Express is what I got to read, and I'll be covering that today uh, in 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 this video. So the novel Tokyo Express begins with the setting of a rocky cove in Hakata Bay. So this is Fukuoka, Japan. That's where Seicho Matsumoto was born, and in this Hakata Bay, like a beach in a rocky cove, the bodies of a man and a woman are found at dawn, and both are young and beautiful. The bright color of their cheeks reveals that they have taken cyanide poison. So, uh, mainly the questions emerge like, is it a suicide of love? And certainly at first glance, that would no doubt seem like it, right? Like that it seems like a suicide of love. But the Fukuoka police seem disappointed that there is no culprit and that no investigation. And then comes this duo, which will have to piece the mystery together. So Torigai is like an old investigator, and he's a local, and he has peculiar manners as well, but he's a well-seasoned detective. So Turirai, now being a local and a seasoned person, has to work with a young colleague who is coming from Tokyo, and his name is Mihara Kichi. So they start to investigate in not so much of an involved manner. They have a unique way of collaborating, and they complement each other though, and assist in unique ways for the investigation to progress. But it's Mihara who is really trying to get down to the depth of what happened, and the victims were Kenichi Aiyama, 31, age 31. He worked for the Ministry X, which is embroiled in a bribery scandal. And the woman, Toki, 26, a waitress, um, she didn't have any lover. So why were Kenichi and Toki together to form dead? That the whole intricacy of the plot. So Mihara begins to suspect their deaths may have been sort of another diversion, and understandingly for another real crime. So he starts investigating, and Mihara sort of goes through this meticulous step-by-step analysis of the couple's known moments, the last known moments, right, which includes some witnesses that come and say they heard the pair on a train platform in the city a week before their deaths. And where have these two been, and what have they done since then? So Mihara's investigation relies on like a lot of old-fashioned detective work. So we have to understand that the story is set in the 1950s, when there was no internet, no mobile phones, and to find people, you need to find out what their address is and just go visit them at their home, knock on the door, and visit them. So that's the kind of investigation Mihara is leading. And Mihara's work is sort of focused on going thoroughly over the train timetables, and they are included. And it's the 1950s train timetables. And he goes through the passenger list. The plot is heavily focused on the logistics of travel. That's where the first title, Points and Lines, kind of made sense. What were the different points of stops for the trains and so on? And it sort of brings a contrast in this novel between Mihara's Tokyo urban life, and he's a young guy, and the quiet beauty of Hakata Bay, where Torigai himself is residing. So that's a very nice contrast that is played around in the novel. And the novel is very short. It's like 160 or 170 pages long. So a very fast read. There is a skillful use of the train system. It's sort of a metaphor for a Japanese society. That's how at least I took away the key things. The train with their punctuality. The trains in Japan are known for their punctuality, their interconnected routes, and the diversity of passengers that are going in, all have intricate and impersonal relationships, right? Like when we are traveling in a train, even though we are sitting across another set of passengers, there is that impersonal relationship. So overall, Tokyo Express is a very good read and a very good detective fiction of how to go step by step and analyze and finally catch the culprit. So the next novel here is A Quiet Place. So Quiet Place has this book cover, so that shows an alley or a street, right? And it's very much significant in this particular novel. So Sumio Asai, while traveling on a business trip to Kobe, he receives the news that his wife Iko has died of a heart attack. So the wife's sister is calling him, and he's in the middle of this meeting, and he's meeting with a lot of senior people, and he thinks like they will be of help further down in his career. So Aiko had a heart condition, and the news of her death doesn't come totally unexpected to Asai. So Asai is very soft-spoken government bureaucrat, and he's perplexed though about the demise of his wife due to the circumstances of her death itself. So she is known to be shy and withdrawn, and very similar to Asai, like in the behavior. So his she is only left the house twice a week to go or to go to haiku meetings. And haiku is very significant in Seicho Matsumoto's writings here. And so, how did she end up in dead in a small shop, and that too in a Tokyo neighborhood, which is sort of quiet as well, right? To some extent. So when Sumio or Asai goes to apologize to the boutique owner where his wife has died, and the trouble caused by the wife's death. He kind of stumbles upon this villa, Tachibana, nearby. And the house is known to be a meeting place for secret lovers. And as he keeps digging deeper and deeper into his wife's past, he must eventually kind of come to the conclusion that she led a double life. So it's not a detective story sort of thing, like where it's who done it, but uh, it's certainly like an investigation that a normal person, a civilian or Asai, does on his own to find out more details about his wife and why she was found dead there, and why she was, first of all, in that place where she ended up dying. So as Asai delves deeper, so he uncovers like secrets and sort of different facets to her existence that he had never known. So this is like kind of revealing a lot of complex personality of his wife as well. So there is a lot of things happening underneath, and then there is the quiet exteriors that he perceived of his wife, and what she was, then what she was. So the the novel itself, it's very slow paced. It occurs over a course of months because Asai has to be working his regular job while he's conducting his own personal investigation about the death of his wife. So the journey becomes so much of an understanding of Asai himself. So he starts to understand more about himself, and while he's tackling the secret life that his wife had been leading. So it brings, and he's confronted with love, marriage, and fidelity as the main questions. So it's an exploration of themes on the nature of intimacy and the illusions of understanding between the people, and the solitude that can exist even when we think we know the people are close. There is still a solitude, and even though there is a lot of intimacy observed, there is still that solitude within the close relationships. So that's what Matsumoto is bringing to the forefront in this particular novel, and it portrays Asai's psychological journey that is marked by introspection and a haunting sense of alienation, right? And that's all in the backdrop of Japan's rigid social norms. They are known for, the Japanese society is known for having some social norms which are different, and it's sort of dealing with this post-war middle class society. So it invites the reader to explore sort of the societal expectations and some of the things that get overlooked on the complexity of ordinary lives. It's a sort of very reflective journey on the intimacy, human intimacy overall, and what we perceive of it and what we think about it. So, uh, a profound instance, basically, between who we think the other person is and who they are, literally, right? And that's what this novel explores. A very wonderful read, I would say. The next novel is Inspector Imanishi Investigates. So the novel starts off like in the early morning hours, like a dead body is found under the rails of a train in Tokyo, and the victim's face is so badly damaged that the police cannot figure out like the victim's identity itself. But there are a few clues, but they are only scrape of clues, like which usually do not lead to a fast progressing plot in identifying what happened. So there are only two clues that surface. An old man was overheard talking in a distinctive accent to a young man, and the word Kameda was uttered. So essentially, that that's all you start off from. So that's a very tiny scrap of evidence, right? So now Inspector Imanishi, he has to abandon his bonsai and his haiku project and go off to investigate. So haiku, by the way, for people who don't know, is a three-line poem with the first and third lines being five syllables and the middle one being seven syllables. So that's a very popular form of poetry. And usually people wonder whether the lines should rhyme with each other, but not necessarily. I've seen uh, poems like haikus which do not rhyme at all. So it's a very interesting thing to go over some of the haikus. So Inspector Imanishi quickly leaves behind his bonsai and haiku, right? So he runs up against a blank wall, though. So nothing, and months pass by, and in kind of the questioning and following up on the leads until the case is closed and sort of unsolved. But Inspector Imanishi is not happy. He wants a certain close. He believes in a certain orderliness, and he believes that the world is always operates on order. So, so he cannot stand back and watch that this case is unsolved. So now he goes about investigating why did a young woman scatter pieces of white paper out of the window of a train, and there are various questions. As his interrogation is processing, uh, so why did a bar girl leave for home right after Imanishi spoke to her? So why did an actor on the verge of telling Imanishi something important drop dead of a heart attack? So all these, and also why some young artists are having uh, have to do with the murder of a client, and this was like the old ex-policeman, a provincial old ex-policeman. So what do these young artists have to are they involved? So Matsumoto uses the murder investigation sort of to process other themes of isolation and the clash between traditional and modern values, a profound loneliness that exists among the cities, right? And in crowded cities especially. And there is an erosion of communal ties, essentially, when you move from small villages over to the big city, you lose that touch uh, that exists in the smaller environments or smaller villages rather than the cities. So he goes in and explores those themes very beautifully, and the clues and characters gradually sort of have to converge, right? There is a closure that Imanishi always believes in, and there is a resolution that he wants. And, the resolution is surprising and very satisfying, actually. So it reveals that the identity of the murderer and the motive behind the killing, but also at the same time, it offers the reflection on guilt, redemption, and the possibility of understanding people. So where and how people understand each other, and what is that transitional phase which makes for that huge difference in the way we start behaving. So very good read. I would say go ahead and read Inspector Imanishi Investigates. So there is other Seicho Matsumoto novels, Pro Bono and The Voice. I still haven't read these. So in anybody watching this channel, if they have read these two novels, do connect with me, because you can come and present on this channel. It's not like I'm the only one um, who needs to be presenting here. So I'm putting an open out there to contact me through the comments or direct message me as well. So that's it for today, and do subscribe to Life's Magical Journeys YouTube channel, and also subscribe to the other socials, Facebook, Insta, and LinkedIn. And that's it for today, and we'll see you soon with another novelist and their novels.